Nothing can speak to the outstanding quality of Washington State wines, Washington State Merlot, the different AVAs, than a wine lasting 25 years and being kind of a prototype.
The challenge in the cellar is not to take great fruit and force it to work well in D2, but to really go out and find fruit that already fits the profile of D2 and can add to a already extraordinarily complex program.
That's always the object of a Bordeaux blend, is to bring different components in and blend them together so that you have a wine where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
But when you think about D2 and its history and where it belongs in the history of Washington wines, it's one of the first original blends. 25 years ago, people were bottling mostly single varietals.
I remember when we first started in '92, very few people were making Bordeaux blends, and I thought this was an opportunity.
When DeLille was founded, we harvested the same amount of Cabernet and Merlot.
We decided to bring in both of them and Cab Franc, and with the blending trials decide which one we liked the best.
When we went to blend 2 years later, the best wine was Cellars, and it was our Cab-dominated blend.
From there, we had some Merlot left over because it was dominantly Cabernet.
And that became our D2. So a declassified wine, in every sense of the word, was kind of the leftovers, and a second wine, not intended to be anything but high quality, but just be sort of what you drink while Cellars comes of age.
The root of N in Pauillac is called D2 or D2. It stands for Department 2, kind of like I-5 here. It's a designation of the road that's actually one of the most famous root of N's in the world. I thought, since it was the second wine that we made at DeLille, it'd be fun to have that name.
So really, over 25 years, it's organically grown from a second wine, declassified from our finest to a wine on purpose, as I describe it.
What we've learned over the 25 years is that these particular vineyards play well with other vineyards, and this Merlot plays well with that Cabernet, and so forth. It's not chaotic when we do the blending trials. We're already set up to succeed before we even start with the blending trials. The work in the vineyard is the real heavy lifting. That's why it's so important and so fortunate for DeLille to really be able to have all these great vineyards in our back pocket.
That's really been, I think, one of the critical reasons why D2 has had such success, is that as demand rises, we have an opportunity to work with vineyards that we want to work with.
From Stone Tree in the Walook to Red Willow under Mount Adams, all the way to Red Mountain and all the vineyards we have there, Ciel de Cheval and so forth. It really is some of the best growers and some of the best sites in the state.
Everyone that's in the cellar, all the winemaking team, loves working with really high quality fruit and some of these amazing growers.
I think it's been well established that Washington State is making some of the greatest Merlots in the New World.
It's a privilege to work with these grapes. It's a privilege to make wine for people that really appreciate what we do.
It's just so fortunate that people recognize this in a world that has so much wine out there, to be able to consistently get very high marks. I feel like I'm getting straight A's all the time.
At the same time, you don't want to just settle. You don't want to just take those scores and be done with the work. And I'm glad that the world knows about the hard work that we're doing here and the quality of the wine, but really most of the time I just see it as more inspiration to do even better. If
I achieve one thing, if I get out in the world and show people that Washington State, and also probably DeLille, is really outstanding, then I'm happy. Then I've had a successful career.
Really, what we're doing here today is just the beginning, and the 25th vintage is just the beginning of growth that will go on for generations and maybe for, it's crazy to think, but decades or centuries longer.